Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. The EV tax credits sound like they'll be a great benefit to the legacy automakers in launching their electric cars. This is due to the fact so many of them are struggling so much to get decent range in their electric cars at an affordable price. The tax credit allows them up to an extra $12,500 to get that much closer. Currently, the legacy autos have done very little in the way of EVs, particularly when it comes to new EVs that are built and designed around the batteries and electric motors, compared to just adding batteries into previously designed cars. In fact, out of the US incumbent automakers, so far we've only seen one all-electric vehicle that has tried to make an effort in competing with Tesla, the Mustang Mach-E. Yes, GM has its Bolt, but this was not a serious effort that was meant to have an effect on Tesla's market. Not that the Mustang has even had any effect on anything either. The level of sales they're generating are not great, falling month over month, and a lot of them would have been to car dealers. Ford used their heritage brand for the purpose of launching their first all-electric EV, the Mustang, from their iconic sports car dating all the way back to the early 60s, with over half a century of history and branding. Yes, sports car, but the Mach-E was actually a crossover, as this is the most popular market segment for autos. In other words, for Ford to have their best chance at an electric car, they threw everything they had at it. They used their best brand in the most popular market, and still came up short. Even I'm surprised how badly this car performed. But Ford have not given up. They're not stopping there. They still have another chance. They're going to launch a new electric pickup truck using the branding of their best-selling model, and which happens to also be the best-selling model of any car in the entire US. They're going to launch their electric F-150 pickup truck. Unfortunately for them, they've just set the price point before the new tax credits have come into play, despite it likely the car will actually be released when the tax credits are in effect. One of the many problems Ford have is that they've likely set these prices too low in the first place, as to attempt to look competitive with the Cybertruck. So much so that they're quite possibly losing money on every sale, at least for the lower end models. But they probably didn't plan on selling many anyway, likely due to the limited amount of battery supply they have. But through tax credits, suddenly their demand might increase significantly. In fact, it could be quite serious for Ford. The F-150 Lightning would now start at $27,500. That's actually less than the ICE equivalent. Now a lot of consumers are suddenly going to wait for the electric version. Ford have not only created the Osborne effect on their biggest selling model, in fact basically the only model keeping Ford afloat as a company, with this new tax credit, they've also undercut the cost of their best-selling model. Okay, sure, there's still going to be some people that want the ICE version of an F-150, but there are also going to be a lot of people who did want the ICE version and now want the electric version, not just because it's cooler, but now also because it's so much cheaper too. But Ford don't have anywhere near to enough batteries to serve this much demand. If each truck is around 170 to 250 kilowatt hour battery, then that's the equivalent of about 4 Model 3 standard ranges, just of batteries for each F-150. In other words, there's simply no way Ford can find enough batteries for the demand they'd have, even without the tax credits. Of course, it's still yet to even be seen if they're capable of mass production for an electric vehicle yet either. Same goes for every other auto manufacturer except Tesla. So we will see perhaps hundreds of thousands of Ford customers want to pre-order an electric F-150, whilst orders for the ICE versions dwindle significantly. And at the same time, Ford have to act convincing everyone that, hey, we can make plenty of these F-150 Lightning trucks. Mass scale production is our game. They won't be able to come out and just say, for those of you who do want an F-150 Lightning, well, actually, we only have the capacity to make about 20 to 30,000 of those a year. Yeah, sorry about that. They can't say that, as it would be interpreted as, well, okay, we have to admit, we talked a big game, but EVs are simply not something we can pull off. Tesla is absolutely amazing, we will never come close. They have to keep the stock price up. This is done through politics, acting like whatever Tesla can do, they can do just as well. Remember, this would still just be only 2 EV models that Ford has, and they plan on releasing an electric transit van too. In case you didn't realise, all these vehicles require massive battery packs. If they wanted a market share, then they needed to get something small and compact, before the Model 2 even perhaps, which uses minimal battery sizes, and even possibly undercut the Model 2 price with. the last thing they should have done would be to cannibalise, and Osborne, the actual lifeblood of the business, the F-150. Ford haven't just shot themselves in the foot here, they shot themselves in the head and the heart at the same time. They've put themselves out of business that much faster than if Tesla had alone. I really couldn't have thought of a faster way for them to go bankrupt. A lot of people think that Ford had already started the Osborne effect just with the electric version of the F-150, what with it being that much more coveted. But if suddenly there is that much larger an incentive to purchase it, from the tax credits and a massive discount, then they really will see the sales of the F-150 decline. Without their F-150, Ford will not have the profit or revenue they needed to transition, or at least give the impression that they could transition. Although Ford even seemed to admit that EVs are the future. Any other electric models Ford launch can't afford any decent investment. They don't have the economies of scale to make them look great or functional and really take advantage of battery-powered cars. They don't have the resources to perfect the production line in order to get the cost down that much further and the rate of production up to any decent quantity. Yes, they have this great tax advantage to incentivize their new EV production now too. Due to the tax savings, they may not have the demand issue they may have been facing. But at the same time, Tesla's demand will go through the roof. And most of the demand is coming from consumers who were previously going to buy an ICE car because they couldn't afford a Tesla. But now Teslas could be $10,000 cheaper. I honestly can't even begin to comprehend what it means having a Model 3 starting price under $30,000. The ironic thing is, there's a strong chance that the purpose of this tax credit might have actually been to help Ford in the first place, but it will just further accelerate their inevitable fate. Can Ford even make a compelling enough EV that consumers wanted to buy? Don't forget something else. The Cybertruck now starts at under $30,000 too. That's right, with these tax credits, you could purchase a Cybertruck at that price point. It's going to be incredibly hard for any other manufacturer to offer anything close to this value, whether electric or internal combustion. The idea for the legacy automakers is that they can now raise their prices a bit, enough to perhaps break even, or maybe squeeze a small profit, for a few years, long enough until economies of scale kick in, and they can actually make a car that may be able to survive on its own. At least that's the idea. I can't see how it will actually happen. But it's a more level playing field now. If Tesla are benefiting from the credits too, so they can't really raise their prices too much, due to Teslas now being such good value. But like I've said before, this will just make Teslas far too coveted, and the waiting lists will just get that much longer. Now, due to the tax savings of EVs from legacy autos, they're now competitive with ICE cars. So for consumers who don't want to wait 1 or 2 years for a Tesla, they can buy an inferior Ford EV, as it's possibly better value than their ICE equivalent. Except that even if demand for Ford's ICE cars suddenly changed to their EVs, then they simply couldn't make enough anyway. They are seriously battery constrained. And again, like I said, the models they will actually have the most demand will consume about 4 times as many batteries as Tesla. Oh, and they only have one EV model currently, the Mustang. The F-150 launch date will also likely be delayed. I bet it won't even be launched until sometime in 2022. It's going to take Ford a long time until they're able to release more EV models. And if they rush it, then very few people will buy them, as Tesla have simply set the bar so high for anyone else to compete. And yes, we all know it, but I can't help mention it every time. Ford are going to have to spend a fortune on advertising these cars, in the hope of convincing people to buy them. And unfortunately for Ford, the economics show that whenever they do that, it ends up increasing the popularity of Tesla that much further. And again, it's not in the best interest of the car dealers to push these models. And even if they do, it means Ford has to pay them a part of their profit too. I actually don't think this EV credit will benefit Tesla directly. The main thing that would benefit Tesla is anything that increases battery production. Unless the government can find a way to increase that, then it's likely Tesla will continue their level of growth the same. The tax credits just mean that they will have to focus more effort on the US market. How it does benefit Tesla is there will simply be fewer US legacy autos around that much sooner. Oh no, but we wanted everyone to make the transition, didn't we? Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.